Makeup has been around for quite some time, and advertisings like the ones we are seeing right now have become normal in everyday life. The makeup industry is booming, and new media allow brands to directly communicate with their stakeholders. This communication is driven by corporations' economic needs. The video will shed light on how the makeup industry is utilizing strategic mass communication to appeal to the consumer. Before we dive deeper into the corporate public relations of one of the most renowned makeup companies of present times, we want to have a look into the history of makeup and its wider meaning for societies of the past. Makeup throughout history. In fact, the Egyptians were arguably the first, in 7000 BCE, to use makeup in the way that we think of makeup today, a quite deliberate way of enhancing facial features. The Egyptians used natural products to create their own ancient day makeup. Women and men of all classes wore a sort of moisturizer, in the form of black eyeshadow, giving them the typical Egyptian look we know so well from pop culture. Their cosmetics also had medicinal purposes. In 4000 BCE, the ancient Greeks and Romans practiced less is more, as any overt sign of makeup was forbidden. Seems like the no makeup look is actually a classic. Apart from natural products, they used toxic ingredients such as lead or mercury to attain their looks. By 600 CE, in ancient China, nail paint had been established as a mean of class distinction. The lowest classes were not allowed to use any makeup. Jumping to the 15th century. In this time, altering one's face was perceived as deceitful and sinful, as early Christian writers established a powerful narrative that propagated a connection between makeup and deception. In 19th century England, Queen Victoria framed makeup as vulgar and unladylike and morally questionable. Using cosmetics was not accepted by society. This started to change in the 1880s and throughout the beginning of the 20th century, as makeup was deemed more socially acceptable. Due to the introduction of films and actresses with heavy makeup, who popularized makeup and boosted commercial sales. Throughout the 20th century, makeup became accessible everywhere, and was thus democratized for the great masses. In the Western sphere, now, virtually anything is possible when it comes to makeup. Arriving in present times, makeup has come into full effect. In 2019, the beauty industry was booming and was valued at over $500 billion and is continuing to grow at lightning pace. Makeup brands such as Fenty Beauty have encouraged diversity. Further, an ever-increasing number of males is using makeup. However, studies show that the beauty industry influences its consumers in diverse negative ways. From a young age, girls are taught to experiment with makeup to increase their attractiveness. Advertisings often use obsolete gender stereotypes enforcing gender roles. Cosmetics have become an easy way to measure up to the standards of beauty enforced by society and the beauty industry. Corporations have used public relations or propaganda to secure their interests. Aided by advertising agencies and mass media, corporations have been exploiting women's interests in beauty. As it is put in A Century of a Spin, PR has unquestionably increased dramatically since the 1950s. We have a wider focus on all the activities used by corporations to win the battle of ideas. This means their lobbying and their media manipulation, but it also means their philanthropy and the good works often undertaken under the title Corporate Social Responsibility. L'Oreal is a French cosmetics company with a registered office in Paris. Founded in July 1909, it is the world's largest cosmetics corporation and has developed activities in the fields hair color, skin care, sun protection, makeup, perfume, and hair care.
We're worth it.
Because I'm worth it. I'm worth it.
In the 70s, the women's rights movement descended into the streets. But advertising had not yet given women a voice. Their husbands did the talking for them.
The hairspray that leaves hair feeling like hair.
A 23-year-old advertiser came up with this slogan, "Because I'm worth it," and revolutionized the rules of advertising for an entire era.
I use the most expensive hair color in the world, preferenced by Loreal.
In the previous video, we saw how L'Oreal, by emphasizing and repeating the slogan, "Because I'm worth it," strives to go beyond mere appearance and taps deep into human aspirations. A sense of belonging, self-realization, confidence is created. Appeal to authority. Employing public figures such as Jennifer Lopez in advertisings, L'Oreal demonstrates one of the propaganda techniques that is called appeal to authority. In general, endorsement by celebrities is one of the advertising techniques that L'Oreal uses mostly. This technique is effective, but of course costly.
What woman doesn't like to light up a room? So my hair color, only preference.
Superior preference by L'Oreal.
Color that's filled with light.
Jennifer Lopez asks, what woman doesn't like to light up the room? She uses the idea of bandwagon, a persuasive tool often used in advertising. If a trend is already popular, you might as well just hop on the bandwagon, right? Impressions, experiences, and reviews about a brand via electronic word of mouth, which is comparable to social influencers and ambassadors, are perceived as more credible than corporate messages. In general, different research and experiments show that advertisings from social influencers and ambassadors lead to a more positive brand attitude than brand advertisings. Another technique of corporate propaganda and PR used by L'Oreal is virtue words, using emotional words to inspire people.
Hi, I'm Amy Mullins. I am the new brand ambassador for L'Oreal Paris. Things that I'm celebrated for, whether it's from sports or, fashion, haven't been in spite of. They've been because of what I've learned and have experienced as a woman living with 2 prosthetic legs.
This advertising vividly depicts the art of virtue words. Another technique used by the makeup industry is called card stacking. It refers to the process of choosing from a variety of facts only those which support the propagandist's purpose. In other words, convenient facts are selected while detrimental information is omitted. Research has found that most claims made in makeup advertisements are either false, deliberately vague, or even single-sided testimonials. One example is the advertising with Penelope Cruz. It was claimed that the advertised mascara makes lashes 60% longer than usual. After complaints from customers, a public outcry emanated and adverts were deemed as misleading. In another case, in 2014, L'Oreal reached an agreement with the US Federal Trade Commission to not make any claims about anti-aging products, unless there's credible scientific evidence supporting the claims. We have illustrated how the perception and narrative of makeup has changed throughout time. It was exemplified how corporations, L'Oreal, employ corporate propaganda to secure their business interests, shape the makeup industry and society at large. To round this off, we want to mention Miller and Denon's quote. In reality, public relations as developed by corporations is a set of techniques for pursuing corporate interests rather than promoting common interests. Finally, this is our burning question. Can you detect corporate propaganda in makeup advertisings? Please elaborate.